Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is that you are listening, folks. Thank you very, very much for listening. Date today is the 3rd, the month is February, and the year is 2026. Welcome to yet another edition of the Coping Hour, hosted by Nicholas Single, a.k.a. Motown Noah. I got some good news and I got some bad news for you up top. The bad news, I don't know what, I have no idea what to talk about today. I got nothing for you guys. You are afforded the opportunity of looking at the timestamps or looking at like the title of the episode, and you know what direction we're going to go today. I don't. It's been a very, very long time since the Super Bowl's not for another week. I'm not doing another trade deadline thing in the NBA. I'm just not. What do you want me to do? Let's do the Giannis segment for the fucking 1 millionth time. No, I said in the last episode I'm done until he actually gets moved. I'm done doing it. I could do some stuff on the Pistons. Let's just wait for the trade deadline. Who cares? I'm serious, man. I'm sorry. I got nothing for you. The good news, though, is that I am a master at pulling rabbits out of hats. So I pray I'm on my hands and knees hoping that we go somewhere today. Please, Nick, find something to say in today's episode. I really, really, really do not want to waste your time. But we got to do an episode, right? So let's start here. I say, hey, the date is the 3rd. The month is February. It's not just February. It's also Black History Month. We can start there. Black History Month, maybe we'll do this in every single episode. I'm not going to hold myself accountable for this. I'll probably forget to do it in the next one. I probably will because it's going to be the trade deadline. I'm going to be so excited about, the Pistons getting Michael Porter Jr. and Draymond Green. Black History Month. How about Arsenio Hall? Huh? How about that? How about Arsenio Hall? A guy for me who I actually wasn't alive for the peak of his powers, Arsenio Hall. His show actually wasn't even on the air for that long. It was like 91 or 92 to like 96. He really wasn't on the air for that long. But as somebody who like late night television and just the people who would moderate conversation on television really are just are people who I've always been drawn to. And Arsenio Hall growing up, I remember watching YouTube videos on my iPod Touch in like middle school. This was like the early 2010s maybe. And I would always watch videos of Arsenio Hall and Dick Cavett. Those were the two guys that I was always the most drawn to. And because I just thought the way that they were able to have conversations with people, I thought was second to none. I still to this day don't think anybody really rivals the way that they have conversation with people. And Arsenio existed at an interesting time because his show was sort of in the middle of the end of Carson's late night show, Johnny Carson. And so when you're competing against like these legacy late night guys, right? Like that's really hard, but Arsenio in a lot of ways dictated what was cool. I think he had the coolest band. I thought he got the coolest guests. I thought he just had the most interesting people. And again, he had the best conversations with people. Dick Cavett really is number one, I think, in that regard. But it's Black History Month. So for right now, for this month, it's Arsenio Hall that was number one. Now, he was just cool. Like, there's no other way to just describe him, like, as a dude. Like, I really just think he was cool. And I think, I don't want to say, like, in a lot of ways, influenced the way that I do this show. No, because I don't have guests on this show, and out of the maybe like 5 or 6 episodes where we have had a guest on this show, like a real one, not just like me calling Jacob, aka Rusty Buckets, for 15 minutes, but like when the focus of the episode is me talking to somebody else, like I'm not good at those. I'm not good at interviewing people. I'm not good at having conversations with people. It's a miracle that the Cade interview went as well as it did. It was like one of the only times in my life that I ever actually thoroughly prepared for something. And so, but otherwise, like, again, like I wish I could look at Arsenio Hall and say like, this is something that he did that really resonated with me that I try to emulate on this show. But I can't because he was just too cool. Like he was just really too cool of a guy. And also, his show existed 30 years ago at this point. It's crazy to think about, like, you don't even have to go back 30 years. You can go back 10 years, when Trump really started to enter the political zeitgeist. Isn't it hard to imagine what late night television looked like before Trump? Isn't it hard to remember what that looked like? Like, what did the average late night show look like when the monologue was not about something that was going on politically in the United States and more specifically about Donald Trump? It's hard to remember really what that was like. But it was, and that's not to say like, it's not like SNL didn't always make fun of politicians. Like, they didn't really make fun of Obama that much, but they did make fun of Bush a lot because he was dumb. And Arsenio Hall, I guess none of his monologues, especially, I guess, really, come to mind. I don't remember. Like it's so crazy to think about a time in late night television where politics wasn't kind of the focus of it. And I'm not really saying one way or another, like, it's too bad, go woke, go broke. That's why Stephen Colbert is getting canceled in May. No, I think it's for good reason that's become the focus. And I think that it's also sort of a testament to sort of the gamification of politics that Donald Trump, this era that he ushered in, where for a guy who for 20 years was so focused on TV and the ratings that he got with The Apprentice, it makes sense in some sense that he would. It makes sense in some sense, jackass. It's not crazy like the way that this is played out, that he does the most outrageous shit because he wants people to be paying attention to him. You know what I mean? And so naturally, these late night guys are going to feed off of that, and they're just going to kind of play into his hands. But it makes sense that they would play into his hands given what the context to that gamification actually is. You know what I mean? So shout out to Arsenio Hall. I guess there's your Black History Month a lesson of the week is just Arsenio Hall. Give the guy a Google. There are few people who are just as capital C, bolded, italicized, underlined, cool as Arsenio Hall. What else do I got for you guys today? I got a nice little look. We don't like to do on this show. We really try not to do financial advice. We don't do gambling. We don't do anything that could lead to somebody forming an unhealthy habit or something that could get them into a lot of trouble. I'm gonna break that as a brief. I'm just gonna give you guys some game, okay? Hey, I just bought some stock the other day. You want to know what I bought some stock in? I think it's going to the moon. This new, it's not necessarily new, but this new Doritos flavor, this loaded taco flavor. Holy shit! Oh my god, dude! We're at Target on Sunday, and I'm like, let me just get some chips. I need something snacky or just throughout the day, whatever, something that I can just kind of like passively eat while I'm doing whatever with my kid. And I see this Doritos loaded taco kind of staring me in the face. And I'm like, you know what, girl? I've never tried you before. I've seen you around the club. I've seen you around Target. We've locked eyes a couple times, and I've kind of, but I've just been too nervous to make my advance. I don't want to scare the hoes. I don't want to scare the Doritos. You know what I mean? And so, but this time I was like, it's a small enough bag that even if I don't like the flavor, like it won't really matter because I'll just blow through it. There's like 6 chips in the bag. You know what I mean? Like whatever. Brother, I brought those home. Let me tell you something. Now, there aren't very many Doritos, if any, that are swings and misses. I'm just telling you right now, buy stock. This loaded taco Dorito flavor. The bag is like a purple color bag, but not like the sweet, spicy, chili, like whatever that flavor is, like the real purple Dorito bag. They're really good. It's basic. It tastes just like taco seasoning. It's crazy. So essentially, I guess all that it is in a vacuum is it's Doritos with just like cumin, just like it's just drenched in cumin is all that it is. No, but it's crazy. It's like one of those chips that you eat and you're like, wow, it's rare that you eat a chip that tastes exactly like the way that it's advertised. But I think they're great. They're fucking amazing, dude. But then that kind of snowballed into a different take, and I'm like, I'm starting to put all these like Doritos into like a category, and I'm like, when is the best time to eat every single Dorito? And I haven't figured out what the purple Dorito is. I will be referring to these Doritos by the color of their bag, by the way. The purple Dorito. So here's what we do at home with the purple Doritos. We crush them up and Maddie puts them in Crunch Wraps and they're amazing. Otherwise, I think that's another one that you can kind of just like passively eat. I don't really know what you're supposed to otherwise do with them. And where I'm going with this is like, so red Doritos, whether it be the originals or the spicy nacho, that's what I want if I'm going to like a Super Bowl party. If I'm going to some sort of an event where there's a game going on and people got a food spread out, I want to see the red Doritos, right? That's what those ones are for. Either bag is for like, quote unquote, the big game, right? Blue Doritos, the Cool Ranch Doritos, those are meant for, it's a pool day. You're at the community pool. Maybe you got an in-ground pool at home or above ground. You got a pool at home and the family's out and, you got some chips and some dip and some, some celery and carrots and whatever the hell. That's what the blue Doritos are for like a pool day or a beach day specifically. You bring everybody out, you go to the beach. That's what blue Doritos are for, is for water, which I guess actually makes sense because they're blue. And then any of the other ones I couldn't really, the only other one I could think of outside of the this new loaded taco Dorito that, again, I really think you should buy stock in. I think it's going to go to the moon. Don't have paper hands, man. Sit on this stock. I really think it's a special Dorito. But have you guys had those black ones yet? They're I think it's just barbecue flavor, I think is all that it is. Tangy barbecue, I think is maybe what it says on the bag. Holy smokes. Pretty good, but only in moderation. Like, I want maybe one of those, like a bag of them, like maybe once every other month. But I'm getting to an age where there are two things in my life where I'm 27. I'll turn 28 in June. I think, yeah. I am at a point in my life where there are things that I do have to put my hand on my own chest and like just check myself for sometimes. I'm not allowed to just like house Doritos. Like, I can't just get those every time we go to the grocery store. Like, I really think it's like a once a month thing. I just don't allow myself, because they're fucking terrible. Like, they're so bad for you, but they're great. So like once a month, yeah, that's kind of it. Just like once a month, I'll let myself get a bag of Doritos. But the other one, and it's more infrequent, Mountain Dew. I mean, these days, I maybe let myself get, like, if I go 365 days, if we go January 1st to December 31st, how many Mountain Dews am I drinking? If we call it, like, 12 fluid ounces, whether it be a can or a bottle, I'm going, like, maybe 48. Like, I'm not getting 12 packs anymore. It's crazy to think about that, like, in the context of, some of you are still in the stage of your life where it's completely negligible, and it doesn't matter if you're just housing a 12 case of like or a 12 pack of Mountain Dew. Like, it doesn't matter. Maybe some of you are older than me. You're in your 30s, and you're like, I still drink Mountain Dew every day. What's the problem? No, that's great for you, and I'm happy that you know your body enough that you can handle it. If you can handle it, you can handle it. But I can't, right? And so I, at this point in my life, reserve. And by the way, Baja Blast from Taco Bell doesn't count. I'm not factoring that in at all, because Baja Blast from Taco Bell does not count as Mountain Dew. That's just kind of like, it just comes with the, you know what I mean? It comes with the territory. Because if you're going to Taco Bell and you're not getting Baja Blast, then I honestly don't really know why you're going to Taco Bell in the first place. So that doesn't count, because if we factor that in, then we got to bump the numbers. You know what I mean? But I'm talking like, again, I'm not getting a case of Mountain Dew. That's not what, I can't do that anymore. We don't really do 2 liters in our house. I do. So here's what I do. This is what I was going to say. When we go on road trips, so like going to Michigan or like coming home from Michigan, going back to Chicago, usually, you know, you make a pit stop, you go to a rest area or something, you go to the gas station, you go in, hey, do you want anything to drink? You want anything to eat? You know, you grab some like bullshit from a gas station. That's when I'm allowed to get a Code Red, or I'm allowed to get, what's the orange one? Live Wire, which is just the best Mountain Dew, and it's not close. Do you guys remember years ago? I mean, I don't even remember what year this would have been, like 2010, 11, 12 maybe. When Mountain Dew came out, there was like a contest, and they released 3 new flavors, and you got to vote on which one was going to stay. And there was Revolution, there was Supernova, and there was one more, and I don't remember what it was. One of them, I think, was basically just Baja Blast. Revolution is the one that stayed, and it was like a blue Mountain Dew. And then there was also, they still do this, like once a year. I guess at this point, they do, Mountain Dew does so many, they do so many special edition Mountain Dews. Like, they do one for 4th of July, which is essentially like a firecracker, like bomb pop style. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like the bomb pop, so it's like the red, white, and blue. Do you get those outside of America? I'm not trying to sound like an asshole. I'm saying, because like I associate those with like the, like caca, like the flag, like red, white, and blue. So is that just us that has the bomb pops, the red, white, and blue, and it's a popsicle, it's just a bunch of sugar. Do people I feel like, wow, this is embarrassing well, it's not embarrassing. I guess I would otherwise have no point of reference for if people know this. But I like, those to me are like a very patriotic, I don't want to call them a dessert, but I guess for lack of better phrasing, I guess just a popsicle. But it's red, white, and blue, and they're called bomb pops. And so I guess is that supposed to be, is that about us? I assume that was is that an American popsicle? I'm assuming that's an American popsicle. No, but they release one of those every year around 4th of July. I think they literally call it like the 4th of July or some bullshit. And then they always release one around Halloween, which tastes exactly like Skittles. It's way too sweet. See, that's another thing. I'm at a point in my life where, like, when it's that sweet, like, I don't need to bounce off the walls with all this sugar. Like, I'm here to like a calm, crisp, green Mountain Dew even then, you drink 2 sips of it, you feel so gross. You just feel so gross. Yeah, I don't know. What else is you seen this? You heard about this? We got an email earlier this week, or was it maybe like 2 weeks ago? And I could just say what it was. The email came in from Rylan. Rylan, I'm not going to read your email, but I'll just say what it was, the gist of it, because it was a short email. It was basically like, hey, Nick, you had mentioned something, in passing in a previous episode. This was a long time ago, about how you would not be a good political figure because you would be too corrupt. And they asked me, like, what's the most corrupt thing that I would do if I held a position of power, if I was an elected official of some sort? Like, what's the most evil dark web shit that I would do? And they're right. First of all, I do know myself enough that it's twofold, because I think my ultimate like fairy tale dream that I just know, like, how you have a dream in the back of your head that like, oh, I'd love to do this someday, but like I'm never gonna do this. Mine is being elected mayor of somewhere, and it's not like mayor of Chicago. It's like mayor of like some terrible place in North Dakota where there are like 6 people and there's no real consequence. You know what I mean? That's what I want, is like a real small time mayor thing. Because I know that if I actually had gotten educated and I went to school and I lived a different life where that was something that I pursued, I'm too easily corrupted by power. And, I would, a year into my tenure, I would get hit with a racketeering charge. There would be, bribery out the ass. I'm getting sweetheart deals left and right. Like, I know myself and it wouldn't work. But the most evil thing that, again, I just know myself. What I'm about to say isn't cool, but like, jailing the political opponents, I'm doing it. I'm not even blinking twice. I'm not thinking about it. And so, who am I jailing? I guess if I'm in a position of power and I'm able to send people to The Hague, who are the first people that are going? I don't know if it's the first people that are going, but I'm definitely sending people who go to the grocery store and then they go to like they go to the produce section and they take out like like some minced meat, like a 93.7 or something. And they take it out and they put it in their little basket. And then they keep walking around the store. Maybe they're in the bread aisle, or they're somewhere else where it's like dry goods. And then for one reason or another, they have to like start just they got to leave the store and they got to start putting stuff back. Or maybe they've overspent and they got to put stuff back. But they don't put shit back where it goes. Like, it's one thing if you have a box of cereal and you're like, okay, I don't need this. And you just throw it to the side. It's a box of cereal. Somebody can move that. But like, if you have a rotisserie chicken or like some ground meat or something that otherwise needs to be in a refrigerated area and you just leave it out in the open and then hours will go by, I just think, not to sound like a dumb lib, but it's, but it's like, man, so that animal died for real nothing. And you're just kind of a selfish asshole who is proving that you have no place in society. Those people are going to jail. Additionally, if we stay on the grocery store thing, people who just like, it's almost like it's people, I swear to God, man, it's the people who you would think that they've never been to a grocery store in their life when they just like park their cart in the middle of the aisle and then they walk away to like go see something like down the aisle. And then like, you kind of gotta like, that awkward moment when you gotta like touch somebody else's cart and like kind of just like wiggle it out of the way. And you're like, sorry about this, but you're in the fucking way. You just kind of feel, yeah, well, under my administration, you would not have to deal with those people because they would be hung and shot in the town square. Additionally, other people that we're jailing, anybody who uses chatbots, anybody can get it. Anybody's getting these hands. If you use AI chatbots, period, you're going to the fucking Hague. If you use them to the extent that the chatbots themselves develop their own personality and they're talking like using Gen Z slang, I don't know I've already said that people are going to get sent to the Hague and, hung and shot in the town square. Like, what's something worse that I can do than that? We're sending you to space without a spacesuit, and it will be broadcast for everybody. And we will all watch as you get spaghetti canned. Spaghetti canned. I don't know. It's unknowable what that could mean, but we're going to find out. We're going to find out what it means to get spaghetti canned in space. I mean, what was it? This is the day that I'm taping this is the I don't even know, like 50, 60-year anniversary of the Challenger blowing up. We're going to do that to you. And we're going to strap your family down, and we're going to make sure that you see, this is a dark episode. We're 20 minutes in. I'm saying some really dark shit. But these people are nasty, and they also have no place in society, the people who use chatbots to the degree that they do. I get really, really, really offended when I get emails that I can immediately clock were sent by ChatGPT. Or rather, you are the ones that sent them, but you kind of just put a prompt in there. Like, it's the disconnect between, and I don't know what the age cutoff is. I really don't know, because there are people who are, 2 times my senior, who also use these chatbots. Again, anybody can get these hands. Anybody can get into space, sent to space on some real Challenger shit. You know what I mean? But I just it offends me. It really bothers me when I see people lack the critical thinking to just think. To just think about something, or to use maybe other resources that aren't, destroying the planet. I know it's really cute that you want to see like a generated image of you as like fucking Legolas or something like that. Maybe develop friends that are graphic designers or something, or that know how to, I don't know, just talk to other people. That, this isolationist culture that we have created, where everything is a one-stop shop and you never have to leave your home and convenience is at your fingertips, I think fucking sucks. And I think anybody who uses chatbots should be jailed. What's another one that I want to throw in here? Another group of person who's going to get jailed under the Motown Noah administration, the aka Nicholas Hinkle administration. Here's a good one. Here's a one that we can actually all agree on, and it's, we can actually all agree on. Anybody who watches a streamer and gets them swatted, is that still a thing that people do? It is definitely like within the last, I don't know how many, I guess I don't watch Twitch streamers because I don't really have the time for that bullshit anymore, but also because because at this point, all of them are either federal in the sense that they're like, I just think so many of these guys are like for real ops and they're being paid by, I don't know who, to make whoever look bad. I don't know. Who's that? I don't need to name names. It doesn't matter. Or they're just clip farming, and there's just no, it really does stink that we got to a point in streaming culture where authenticity has just completely fallen off the map, and now everybody's just kind of, or people just go to like the Twitch alternatives. They go to Kick, or they go to, what's the other one, Rumble, just so that they can say the most outrageous shit possible. That's where white people go when they like really need to say the N-word, when they really need to blow off steam and they need to say the N-word and they can't say it on Twitch. They go to Kick, they go to Rumble, they do this shit. Like, those people are not real. I think, actually, you know what? There's like a little subcategory there. It's not just people who swat, which, again, I don't even know if that's really a thing anymore. For those who don't know what swatting is, it's basically like, imagine I'm live streaming and you're watching me and I'm playing like Red Dead Redemption or like Destiny 2 or something, right? And somehow you find out my IP, you call the local Chicago Police Department, you send them to my house saying like, oh, he just said he's going to fucking blow up the World Trade Center or something. And then a SWAT team busts down my door and I'm none the wiser. I have no idea what's going on. Those people need to go to hell. The other people I would say is anybody who has a Kick or a Rumble account. Now, some of you are going to get offended by this. You're going to pearl clutch. You're going to say, well, I have it because of this reason. Fiction. Your reason's bad. Your reason is terrible. Delete it. Because whoever you're watching on there, if they're on that platform, there's probably a reason why they're on that platform and not somewhere else where like you can just like be a normal person. You know what I mean? Is there anybody else? Is there anybody else that I want to send to jail, that I want to send to prison? I'm not sending these people to jail, but this is some felonious ass behavior and they're getting hit with a misdemeanor for sure. Well, which one is it, Nick? Is it a felony or is it a misdemeanor? It depends. It depends on the volume of the conversation. People who use speakerphone in public. Okay, yeah, oh, wait. Okay, here it is. If you're using speakerphone in public, it's a misdemeanor. If you're using speakerphone in public and it's a FaceTime and let me grab my phone if you're watching today's episode. If you're on FaceTime and still using it like it's speakerphone, like you're on the phone, and you're just doing this, right? You're just mouth, ear. Why are you on FaceTime? You motherfuckers, I can see the other person on the phone. It's just the forehead. Then it's a felony. You get, got a lot of lawyers that listen to this show. How many times can you get a felony without going to jail? Whoa. I don't even know the answer to that question. If I got a felony right now, does that mean I'm going to jail? Yes. Yeah, of course. I don't think that's true. I don't think that immediately means that you're going to jail. You can get a felony and then be on like parole, house arrest. Surely you can. Man, I actually don't know. I said that out loud. I guess I don't know. And this is why I wouldn't make a good political figure, is because I don't know how the law works. But under my administration, you would, if you got this, if you got a felony, one-time offender, you're not going to jail. Just like maybe put in fucking headphones. Be courteous to the people around you. Anybody else that I want to throw in jail? No, I don't think so. I think we're good there. Well, actually, if you want to move on from this, then you want to talk about people who need to go to jail. Tough episode for my grandma to hear me just being mean and violent. Grandma, where I'm about to go with this, I'm about to say a lot of stuff it's going to be hard to hear, and I just think maybe I called my grandma like a week or two ago, and there was an episode that I just recorded, and I was like, "Hey, Grandma, like, I just want you to know I just did an episode, and I think you might not want to listen to it because I just think you're going to get upset." And she was like, "Great, thank you for letting me know." And as far as I'm aware, she did not listen to it, which is great. I can tell. I don't know if I'm manic. I don't know what's going on right. If I'm experiencing psychosis, I don't know what's going on right now. But Grandma, I just think this is it. I'm just letting you know. I think maybe go watch Pop play horseshoes or something, or you know what I mean, Grandma. I'm just letting you know. I maybe not the rest of this episode. Hey, since the last time I talked to you guys, this is where I'm going. Since the last time I talked to you guys, where were you when like 3,000 documents got released? That essentially confirmed to us something that we otherwise, I guess, could have surmised. But where were you when you learned that modern alt-rightism and the grander culture wars that we experience here in America were astroturfed by Israeli and American intelligence? Where were you guys when you learned that? Did you just learn it on this show? Or did you learn it over the weekend from these damn Epstein Files, this most recent batch that came out? Now, can I say this? We'll get back to the whole astroturfing thing in just a second. Can I tell you... Can I actually... Hold on. Let me say this. Because I don't know where I'm going to go. If I start to, like, goof around or, like, do some ha-has or something, I want to just say this up top. For every one thing that I read from these emails or, you know, from these investigations or otherwise, for every one thing that I read that made me do a mini nasal exhale, like a, like, oh, that's funny, there were 150 things that horrified me and rattled me to my core to the extent that I didn't even want to live anymore. Okay, this is, I mean, it's truly some of the darkest shit imaginable. And as somebody, look, you don't have to have a kid to be fucking appalled by a lot of the stuff that's in here. But just as somebody who does, you know, thinking about it in the context of that, it just hits a lot different, right? And so I really do want to say that first. I don't think it needs to be said, but I just want to make that clear. I don't think any of this shit is funny at all. That being said, and there's no that being said, here's a funny thing. No. You know what's been pissing me off is these motherfuckers who wear helmets who think that Jeffrey Epstein invented microtransactions in video games. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Because like there was some back and forth with like executives from like some companies where he said something, Epstein said something to the effect of like, they were talking about microtransactions just like conceptually. And he was like, oh yeah, it would be great to like introduce kids to the world economy and shit like that. And like, yeah, it was like a super predatory conversation, but I don't really know that there's a but in there, but you know what I mean? Like just there's some irony in saying like it's predatory, but not in the sexual sense, you know? And so now people, you know, you see all these fucking Gen Alpha motherfuckers who are like, oh my God, like, it's crazy. This guy's had a hand in everything, like, from FIFA to Call of Duty. Like, this guy invented microtransactions. That's not true. It's fiction. It's made up. Because 10 years before we started to get microtransactions in Call of Duty and, like, our favorite sports video games and fucking Fortnite and all that, dog, like, on Xbox 360, at its lowest form, you had to pay money for, like, clothes for, like, your avatar. Or like you could give him like a fancy little guitar for like $2. Like, I guess at the bare minimum you can say, and even now, who cares? Who fucking about this specific thing? Really? This is the thing that you wanted to talk about? Is that, actually, Jeffrey Epstein did not invent microtransactions. We should not veer credit in his direction for that, because actually it was some other fucking lizard from Silicon Valley. I guess apparently that's the stance that I'm taking here. You could give Jeffrey Epstein credit for a lot of shit, but microtransactions is not one of them. Yeah, I guess that is really what this sounds like right now. So I'm just going to completely get off of this because I don't know. Okay, so the culture wars thing. Yeah, man. I mean, we, for so many years, just as a people, have like acknowledged the reality that, like, look, man, you can fight about whatever it is that's going on in the, like, if you use election cycles, this most recent election cycle as an example, the presidential cycle, they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, and, all these Haitian immigrants and shit like that. And, transgender surgeries being performed by migrants in prison or whatever the fuck. Like, that stuff, we all like know in our hearts that that's manufactured, and the purpose of it is meant to divide, and that like it's not actually real shit, because it's not. But brother, does acknowledgement hit different? You know what I mean? We now know that Epstein like had such a massive hand and such a massive influence over 4chan. We know that Ghislaine Maxwell was like a super mod on Reddit. And so when I say that, modern alt-rightism and like these culture wars that we've been fighting for the last 10 years were astroturfed by Israeli and American intelligence, well, now we kind of have that in writing, and we can kind of see it for ourselves. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. And the part that truly has rattled me the most, outside again from the rape and the cannibalization of children, and the burying them in on Trump's golf course, and again, I shouldn't have even have said that stuff because it's so horrifying. But and I know some of you guys listen to this for goofs and for laughs, but it's impossible to escape this right now. The part that really has messed with me the most is that this most recent batch created a legitimacy for QAnon that we've never seen before. That we otherwise, I don't want to say have never seen before, because I guess the WikiLeaks stuff, we kind of did get a little bit of a taste of it. There's some emails going back and forth from like Hillary and Barack where they're talking about like, hey, I'm going to have dinner. Do you want a cheese pizza or a hot dog with no bun? And so that's how the whole Pizzagate thing started, right? And this, was it Comet Pizzeria, whatever it was called, in Washington, D.C., how there were like a bunch of kids that were stuck in the basement of that restaurant, and how, there's this satanic pedophilic ring of, sex trafficking that is, among the global elites. And, they speak in code and all this stuff. And it's crazy to look back on that. It's crazy to look back on that as like crackpot shit, considering when you look at so many of these emails, the language that's in them is actually reflective of what the conspiracy was in the damn first place. And so now you're kind of like, whoa, record scratch freeze frame. You're probably wondering how we got here. Well, I guess how we got here was that, again, American and Israeli intelligence, our apparatus constructed a narrative that was based on reality, and instead they spun it on their opposition, and they pointed the finger at the Democrats ahead of the 2016 election. And then they hedged their bets to such an extent that they spent the next 10 years up until right now investing in technologies, artificial intelligence, so that one day, once all of this stuff does come out and it does come to light, they've invested to such a degree that the production of imagery or video can be indistinguishable from real life. So when inevitably one of these snuff films comes out that these people were filming with these kids, they will be able to have plausible deniability. Whoa, my God. Oh, man. Oh, man. If that's not just the biggest knife in the damn heart that you've ever... I mean, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do when all of this information comes out and you read about these dozens and hundreds of people, high-profile people, that names that you all know, who were involved in these, these horrific events? It's crazy that you can read all of this, and then as soon as you're done and you're ready to throw up, it's almost like you're ready to throw up again because it literally doesn't matter at all. Because it literally, there's not going to be any consequence. It's crazy. All this stuff comes out about Trump where he's directly implicated, and all this stuff comes out about Elon Musk where basically all we learn is that he's always been a loser. Basically, we've learned that Elon has always been a loser, and even the people who were doing all this horrific shit to kids, even they thought that he was a fucking dork. And they were like, Elon sends whoever an email, it was redacted. And he's like, hey, I'm going to be in St. Bart's and Little St. James. I'm going to be in the area. I'm going to be in Puerto Rico in a few weeks for Christmas, hoping to come by the island and let off some steam. Like, I don't want it to be calm. I want it to be wild. And then somebody emails him back and they're like, oh, yeah, Jeff said he's kind of thinking about shutting down his little operation down here. But, if we ever pick it back up, like, we'll let you know. Oh, man. And then Elon's response basically to, being implicated in this and all this is like, yeah, the emails are real, but I never went down there because I'm so bad at picking up on social cues that I had no idea. Right. All right. Whatever, bro. I think I speak for all of us when I say that Donald Trump should be fucking that is, he shouldn't even have anymore, and that he should be could happen on vision. What the fuck is going on? It's crazy that I don't know how to say this. I mean, hey, I already said the thing that I probably shouldn't. What the fuck, man? I think maybe the most conservative thing or like the most right-wing thing about me as a man, and I've always believed this, is like this is the only thing that I don't feel like I fit into like modern leftism with is like I do believe in the death penalty, but I don't believe in it to the extent that like we should just give it to anybody just because they did something fucked up. No, but I do think in cases like this, yep, I do. Like, did you see this the other day? Luigi Mangione, the guy who allegedly killed Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO. Was it who's prosecuting him? Is it the state of New York or New Jersey? I don't know who's prosecuting him. But they said, okay, he's not. Is it Pennsylvania? It might be fucking Pennsylvania because isn't that where they got? I literally don't care because that's not who killed him. That guy's a patsy. It doesn't matter. We'll talk about that in a second. They said they're not pursuing the death penalty. He's not going to get it. Great. Even if that guy, was the real guy who killed Brian Thompson, that's not a real person who should get the death penalty. That's not. I don't think what that should be for. You know what I mean? I do think it's funny. Again, I don't think Luigi Mangione is the guy that killed Brian Thompson, but I do think it's funny that culturally we've all just kind of accepted that it's him because he's hot. And so because he's hot, everybody's just kind of like, oh, yeah, it's fine because he's, he did the slay thing. And, oh, my God, he's baby girl. You know what I mean? And so everybody's just fine with it, even though I just feel like so obviously it just was not the same. That's just not him. Another instance where I do believe in the death penalty, Nicholas Cruz, the guy who did the Parkland shooting in Florida. Yeah, probably should have killed his ass. Tsarnaev, the guy who did the Boston Marathon. Well, we know that he did the Boston Marathon. We know that it was him. We know that he and his brother were disillusioned by the United States, and for reasons that I don't totally remember off the top of my head. But I don't want to say that they were justified. Well, let me pull that. Do I want to pull that one back? They killed a little. No, kill that fucking guy. What I really mean about the death penalty, shit like this. Everybody that's implicated in this, I think, should be dead. All of them. I think they should be killed in the most public and horrific way possible. If I, for some reason, which I don't imagine I will, but if I did get a knock on my door about something like this, I would say the same thing. If I got to go to prison for a month, that's fine. If I got to go to a damn internment camp for a month, that would be a massive inconvenience to me. But if that's what I got to do, then that's what I got to do. Because motherfuckers got to swing. What is this? At the same time that all these files come out, there's a video that comes out, Donald Trump shitting his pants in the Oval Office for the 1 millionth time. Have you heard the account of why Donald Trump has been incontinent for the last, is that incontinent? Is that how you say it? His incontinence? Is that the word I'm looking for? For the last 40 years, why he just be shitting his pants? And this is really graphic, but hey, this is what the account is. So the rumor goes like this, that Donald Trump was requesting a sex act be performed on him on behalf of a young child. The child was male. And the male in question here did something fucking awesome, which was like he went to like he was like, oh, Donald, back up, I'm gonna put it in. But he actually had like a tent stake, and he put a condom over the tent stake, and then he jammed it into Trump. And then Trump had to get like medvac to a hospital, and the kid got beat within an inch of his life. And so to this day, the reason that Trump, like shit just flies out of his ass is because he had a tent stake driven into his ass, however many years ago. God damn, I hope that's true. Boy, I hope that's true. And I don't know how to say like good for that kid, because he's otherwise, he's a grown ass man at this point. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sick to my stomach, man. I'm sick to my stomach, and I don't know how the American people can hear stuff like this and not just like immediately call for. I don't like. There's no real justice for these people. And I know that like if I do the whole death penalty thing, the reason that like it's so I get so particular about it is because like yes, there are a million instances of people within the last like 100 years, specifically like black men. Who were just like accused of doing shit that like they were 2 states over when the thing happened, and then they get put to death, and these wrongful deaths. I'm not saying just because you murdered someone that you should get a death penalty. No, I'm saying for shit like this though, yeah, bro, you need to be in front of the fucking firing squad for real. The guy in Austin Powers, remember, who like got run over by the little not the bulldozer, but the what am I thinking of? Like the little flattener? What is it called? Why can't I not think of what it's called? That it should all happen on TV, like some real Tiananmen Square shit, where we just like run tank, and Bill Gates over with the tank, and Peter Thiel over with a tank, and Robert Kraft run him over with a tank. All these people. It should happen on live television. I don't really know. It's like, oh well, the victims, they don't feel like they have. There's no real justice done if you just take these people's lives and then they never have to face they never have to face up to what they did. Don't care. You want these people? You want Trump to sit in jail for what, like 2 years, and then he fucking shits his pants so much he dies? Then it won't be on camera. And at least if it happens this way, then we all have something to celebrate. Like, imagine if the way that Mussolini died happened in 2026. You know what I mean? It would be Gaddafi, perfect example of a guy who died in a really bad way and in a very public way. I remember getting home from school. When did Gaddafi die? Like, I mean, I sort of said this earlier, like 2011, 12, 13. It was somewhere in that time frame that Gaddafi was like, they pulled him out of like on some real Saddam shit. Like rebels pulled him out of a storm drain, and then essentially into like a storage unit, and they shot him and they just beat the hell out of him. I remember getting home from school as that was happening and was on Twitter just like refreshing on the computer. It was like a 12-year-old. And it was one of the first times that I ever saw somebody like die in a really just like brutal way. I had just never seen it before. That would be I just hope when it does happen, inevitably when it does, I was sending a text about this earlier. I hope it happens on camera, because otherwise we're just kind of going to be robbed of the, you know what I mean? I don't know. Let's do an email, folks. copinghoursubs@gmail.com, spelled phonetically. Email available in the description, wherever it is that you listen to this program. This one comes into us from Matt. Matt, welcome to the show. Subject line: Chicago must revolt against the Reinsdorf family. Hey, Nick, longtime listener, first-time caller. I am writing today as a beleaguered fan of the Chicago Bulls. While I am not from Chicago, I am a legacy Bulls fan from my father being on the Jordan bandwagon. I was recently cooking up some slop in the Fanspo trade machine and realized the Chicago Bulls. Can I break this for 2 seconds? Another person that's getting jailed. You're not in on this, brother, but this tangentially reminded me. People who use the term AI slop incessantly. Those people are also going to jail forever if I was president. Anyways, I was recently cooking up some slop in the Fanspo trade machine and realized the Chicago Bulls currently are not paying a single player over $30 million. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad we got Giddey on a discount, but the fact we don't have one singular player making north of $30 million is crazy in the modern NBA, but also in the third biggest city in the country. This team's commitment to mediocrity pains me constantly. I wish Jerry Reinsdorf would sell the team or ... Anyways, I believe what he's saying there is that he also hopes that Jerry Reinsdorf is killed, since I guess that's what we're doing in this episode. We're inciting violence. Although I'm actually fine with it. Let's not do it against Jerry Reinsdorf just because he's a shitty owner. But I get your sentiment here. You don't want him to get killed. You just want him to die because he's old as hell. Which is, whatever. Who cares? He's Jerry Reinsdorf. The people of Chicago must do something about this cancer on their beautiful city. Imagine an actual competent, well put together team playing in the United Center every night. Close your eyes and visualize it for just one moment. Isn't it great? P.S. I duly apologize for my misspellings and schizo. Oh, you said you're drunk in this. That's fine. I don't care if you're fucking drunk in that. I'm drunk. I had a few beers before I taped the show myself, brother. You're completely fine. We talked a little bit about this a couple of episodes ago, so I'm at the risk of, just kind of repeating all the stuff that I said in there. I really do think he's right about all this. It's crazy. I don't know if there's a brand in the entire world that is as recognizable as the Chicago Bulls, that is as complacent with mediocrity and coasting off of the nostalgia of 30 years ago like the Chicago Bulls are. I really don't know if there is. There's certainly none in American. I guess, I don't know enough to speak to this, completely, but do the Canadiens count? Does Montreal count in the NHL? I don't really know. The Maple Leafs try every year. It's just that they lose in Game 7 inexplicably at some point throughout the playoffs every single year. You know what I mean? So very recognizable brand, but it's not like they don't try. The Bruins try. If I just think original six, all those teams try. I don't think the Reinsdorfs own the Blackhawks. I might be wrong, but I don't think they do. Isn't it just the Bulls and the White Sox? Well, what's going on with the White Sox? Huh? Literally the worst team in baseball, the most goofball fucking team in baseball. Well, I guess other than Oakland, but you know what I mean? The bad owners of baseball, really are the lowest of the low in totality of all the owners in American sports. But it's crazy, if the Bulls didn't hit the lottery 40 years ago and were afforded the opportunity of drafting Michael Jordan, a guy who, by the way, when he came out of North Carolina, he wasn't even the first pick in the draft. When I say hit the lottery, I don't mean they won the lottery. I just mean they hit the jackpot and they got, one of the greatest players of all time. They just kind of, fell into their lap. And it's not like it was a guarantee from the moment that he was drafted. So often nowadays, you see guys like LeBron or, I know the way it's played out, this will sound silly, but a Zion or a Victor Wembanyama, these kind of guys, it's so easy to say well, it's not that any of these guys we immediately say they're going to be all-time greats. We did do that with LeBron, but that's because his high school games at St. Vincent St. Mary were being aired on ESPN. A high schooler playing games on ESPN was completely unprecedented. Even in 2026, in a lot of ways, that is unprecedented. So, now that we've gotten to a point where high school ball specifically doesn't really exist in its purest form because all those cats are playing AAU ball, you know what I mean? And then they jump to, I guess we don't really do, overtime elite or anything like that anymore. I meant to say G League Ignite, stuff like that. That's kind of dead. But no, man, they hit the jackpot with Jordan. For a franchise that has had 4 really good players in their entire franchise history, and 3 of those players were 30 years ago, it's insane that every single penny that the Bulls make at this point is nostalgia based, and they refuse to feel the. It's interesting because I say they won't feel the competitive roster. It's not quite that. It's not to that extreme. They feel a competitive enough roster to win 35 games every single year, but the second that you tilt to 36 wins, something's wrong and we got to do something. Somebody's got to go. You know what I mean? And so, the Derrick Rose thing, it's too bad the way that worked out. But for a couple of years, it was oh my God, here the Bulls go again. And they're in the Eastern Conference Finals and they lose to the Heatles and, all this stuff. And then LeBron goes back. But Derrick Rose is also, LeBron goes back to Cleveland. But then also Derrick Rose is kind of recovered and he hits this massive shot against Cleveland. And I don't know, maybe the Bulls are kind of back. And we got Jimmy and we got Joakim Noah and we got Taj Gibson and, we got Paul Zipser and we got not Kirk Heinrich at that point, but you know what I mean? Was Kurt Thomas ever a Bull? I'm pretty sure Kurt Thomas was a Bull. Mike Dunleavy, GM of the Chicago Bulls, good players have come in and out of there, post Jordan and post Scotty and Rodman and Bill Cartwright and all those guys, Steve Kerr. And I think it's really too bad for a brand that's as recognizable as they are. Because this is such a good sports town, and I just think it stinks that, I don't know. I don't want to speak for all the people who live here. I'm not from Chicago, but I've lived here for long enough that I'd like to think that I have a good pulse on the city and like what the hierarchy of teams is. The Bulls, again, are just kind of acknowledged as like the brand that they are, but there's not hype or excitement for who they are in their current form. You know, where we used to live, like at our old place, you know, around us there would always be these like virtual billboards for like Kobe White or formerly Zach LaVine or something like that. And it was just sad. Like, it just was kind of like a huge bummer that you otherwise see, again, a brand that is so recognizable because of one guy and because of one era. And that's kind of it. And like, I know that there are plenty of teams in the NBA who would fall on a grenade to have 5% of the success that the Bulls had in the 90s. But I think I think even those franchises would have gotten to a point, you know, 30 years removed from that same success, that they would have said, oh, okay, maybe we should try to replicate that at some point. And it's just kind of a matter of how. And I think, you know, if it was a more serious organization, at some point, Anthony Davis would have already been on this team. I think it's really too bad that never happened. And at this point, if it does happen in the future, it'll be too far gone and it won't really matter. But I really think that's a guy that the city otherwise would have rallied around. I think the city does like, they like Josh Giddey. They care about him. They loved DeRozan. They liked Zach LaVine. But I think it's too bad. Now the truth is, personally, for me, everything I just said is from like a more objective perspective, but subjectively, from my point of view, it's the funniest shit in the world. Ha ha ha! I'm hitting the L on literally the dumbest franchise, the biggest bunch of babies in the damn NBA. Cool, you had one guy ever. You play in one of the worst arenas in basketball. You know, could you imagine if United Center had something to root for? It's not going to make that arena good. It fucking stinks. It's not a good arena. It's not in a good area. And I don't mean good area like, oh, it's scary over there. No, it's not. But I just mean like there's nothing going on over there, which is subject to change, to be fair. The city has made plans and done the zoning and all this stuff for like a campus that they want to build around United Center. I think they want to add a train stop or two, and then, you know, just like some other entertainment venues and just like stuff that people can kind of, because otherwise if you've been to United Center, like there's literally nothing over there. You can take the train over to the stadium. You can take a car over to the stadium, and that's kind of it. There's nothing going on. Where like Soldier Field is right downtown. Everything is right there. Wrigley Field is in Wrigleyville. It's in one of the coolest neighborhoods in the entire city. It's actually, I fucking hate that neighborhood, but there's a lot going on there. Like, I hate it because of the clientele that inhabits it, but it is otherwise a really cool area with a lot of stuff going on. You take 2 steps out of the stadium and there's 15 bars and, you know, two restaurants. You know, there's a million things that you can do immediately in the immediate vicinity of Wrigley Field. With the White Sox, it's a little bit different. They are kind of in like an awkward spot, but so they're kind of in the same position as the Bulls. But the point still remains the same. I don't care because I hate the Bulls. I will always hate the Bulls as an organization. I will never root for that team. If the Cubs go to the World Series, I'm rooting for the Cubs. I'm not thinking about it. If the Bears go to the Super Bowl, I'm sorry, Lions fans. It's just fun. This city cares so much about the Bears, and it's just so fun to be part. This year, it was really cool to see the way that the city responded to the Bears' success, and to be a citizen of that same city. It was hard not to kind of feel that same energy, despite the fact that I was really heartbroken over the fact that, you know, my team had literally nothing to do with it. Which obviously if my team had anything to do with the Bears' success, then I definitely would have felt some type of way, you know, in the opposite direction. But I don't know. It's just, it was just cool to see them do as well as they did. I think Caleb is a really likable guy. I think Ben Johnson is a really likable guy. I love Rome Odunze. I love DeAndre Swift. Like, I love Noah Sewell. I love all these guys. So I like Cole Kmet. I fucking hate Colston Loveland. No, I don't know. So it is twofold in that way, where again, objectively, I'm like, you're completely right. I think it's really sad that, you know, I don't want to say the league allows this to happen, because what are the other owners in the NBA going to do? You know, vote out the Reinsdorf family like they did Donald Sterling or like Robert Sarver? No, because they haven't done anything other than just be bad at their job, and it is beneficial to the other. I don't know how beneficial it is to the other 29 teams well, it's good for them that the Bulls are just, you know, perpetually bad at doing business. But otherwise, yeah, fuck them. Don't care at all. Hey, Spotify, can I read you some of the responses that you guys had in the last episode? In the last episode, I asked a question. It was something to the effect of like, hey, do you leave Google reviews, on like restaurants or anything like that? And I had said I don't, because I don't value my own opinion enough, and I otherwise feel too bad for the business. And like if I have a bad experience, I'm just prone to giving people the benefit of the doubt, and I just kind of don't really like to, you know what I mean? It's not really my thing. I was not expecting everybody to be on the same page as me. Okay, so we actually got a couple extra. We got a couple new comments here since the last time I checked this. So let me look at this really quick. Vince said, I have never left a review unless an employee asked me to do so. It otherwise seems snobby as hell to me. Right. Like sometimes, you'll have somebody who, like, we'll do this. I guess maybe this is what Vince was saying. We usually, when we go to Target, we get checked out by the same woman. She's a really, really nice woman. And sometimes it's like, oh, if you look at the bottom of the receipt, there's a survey, and if you fill out the survey and you put my name, like I get a $10 bonus or something like that. Something like that, yeah, for sure. We'll help you out. Like that takes us 2 seconds. That's no big deal at all. Like we've done that before, right? But otherwise, yeah, snobby is a good word. I just don't really like it. Eric said, I only leave reviews in 2 scenarios. 5 stars for small/new businesses that I like and want to support, or 1 star for an established business where I've had a bad to terrible experience, but not if they are new, as that might hurt them too much. Plus, they still have time to fix mistakes. I admire that. I think that's a perfect way to look at it, and I have no notes. I completely agree with you. And then the last one from Isaac, I don't leave reviews on literally anything. I maybe have left 2 ever, just seems unnecessary. I only ever check stars and the pictures on Google, so I never think to leave one. Yeah, you kind of just put the ball in somebody else's hands, and you just hope that everybody else does the thing that you're hoping for. You know what I mean? Like one of you guys also said in a YouTube comment, because I had made a comment about like, you prefer to see, 200 reviews on something where the restaurant, will say, is a 4.6 out of 5, but there's 250 reviews. You're like, okay, rather than 19 5-star reviews. You know what I mean? If something had 1 million reviews and it was a 3.6 out of 5, I would still trust that place. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's also a really good take. So Spotify, I just wanted to highlight that because I think I was shocked at just how much we're all in lockstep. So Spotify, your question this week. Let's take it back to the middle of the show. Just the if you're president, what are you jailing people for? What are you locking up your political opponents for? I think I don't need to, list more examples. I think we were pretty thorough about that. Is there any other additional ones that I want to throw in there? Swatting is it's just terrible. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. What are you who are you putting in jail? And why are you doing it? All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next time that you hear from me, the trade deadline will have happened in the NBA. The transfer window in soccer it closed today. Leicester came out decent. I literally know none of the guys that they got. They got a guy from Chelsea. They got a kid from City. They got a bunch of for real kids, but they did get a new striker. So thank God Jordan Ayew he'll be out of the cycle, hopefully a little bit. There's a rumor out there that they're going to go get Enzo. Chelsea let him go, and he's getting paid millions to just kind of sit on the couch until the summer, until, invariably somebody hires him. And there's a rumor that Chelsea wants to bring him back for the rest of the year. Okay, well, you're not getting promoted. You're not going to the playoffs, so I don't really know what that would be for. It would be best if Leicester just stays in the championship for another year. Get the wages down, see this PSR bullshit through, wait for the deduction to hit. And then otherwise, there was even a rumor that they were going to bring back Mads in net from West Ham. Stilargic has been, the team stinks. I mean, it doesn't matter who they bring in. They desperately needed a striker, though, and I guess they kind of got one. There's just no way for the position that the team is in. There's no way that I'm going to know any of the names that the guys brought in, of the guys that they brought in, and rest assured I did not. So the next time you hear from me, will Giannis be somewhere else? No. I'm going to be so mad if he is, because I just think John Horst is a coward if he sells him this week. I really think. I really think so, man. Alrighty, folks. If you're watching this on, or rather, Apple Podcasts, what's up? What's up? If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, nice little comment for the algorithm. Make sure to keep primary control in check. And I will catch you guys in the next one.
Beautiful, beautiful. Primary control. Beautiful. Primary control. Beautiful. Primary control.